It's a rush job right now, and these guys are under pressure. I mean, they're working men and women, and if they don't hurry up and get this cart done, they're going to be fired.
Great points. So I went to a press conference with Norfolk Southern and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine to ask them about this. What could precision scheduled railroad have to do with the axle failure that caused the derailment?
I have no idea.
I love this. Look at this zoom in on this man. This man who's got like nothing to say.
I have no idea that it's a mechanical issue. Precision scheduled railroading is a management process.
Just throws up his hands like, I don't know.
Not a great answer. And
somebody call Aaron Brockovich true, because this is a huge class action. It's a wonderful day in the homie hood, a wonderful day for a homie. Won't you be my homie to Taro? Honestly, this is probably something that should be the top news story everywhere. I probably should have included it in our daily headlines this morning, but we got a little distracted. This is something that there seems to be like a media blackout over this explosion in Ohio, East Palestine. It's not Palestine, it's Palestine, because this is America. And you can see this ridiculous picture here, like just like look not only at the explosion and this cloud, but like the black cloud and pollution surrounding it. Airborne toxic event, that's right. Just honestly, if you're this guy, you should be like in your car running, because this is going to be a super horrible event, and we don't even really know what the impact is going to be. People are speculating that this is like a mini-Chernobyl, something that is going to cause cancer for years and like decades to come. The particular toxin, which is like a dioxin, I don't really understand the science behind it all, but
tonight, emergency crews desperately trying to get control.
It is just like something that is like super cancerous, and people are speculating that the media blackout over this is a result of, well, Joe Biden, who just gave the State of the Union address. It's not something that he wanted to call attention to. And why? Well, because if you remember, recently the train workers were the train union was trying to make sure that there were more protections for their workers, and some of that included making sure that their staff is not exhausted, making sure that the proper regulations were in place, so that each of these cars was being inspected. Now, I saw one video, I don't know if I'll be able to find it now, but there was a member of the rail workers union who was saying that the time to inspect each car had been reduced from 3 minutes, which in itself is not a lot of time, down to like 90 seconds. So those workers suddenly are put under the pressure, and they're not able to do the proper due diligence inspecting these cars. So this is definitely a problem of like Pete Buttigieg, who is the minister or whatever, not the minister, but whatever the transportation, are they ministers in the US? I forget. And then like Joe Biden, because they did break up these unions, and essentially they are responsible for these problems. You can see here the map that where the toxic waste has already spread through I believe, is it the Ohio River? So it's really something that could even affect us here in Canada. Like, look how close this is to the Great Lakes, and what happens if these dioxins leak into the Great Lakes. They're saying that if you live in this yellow area, then yeah, you should be concerned. I don't know what they can potentially do about something like this, but this is brutal, and it's only it's really close to the Canadian border. So something, I wish there was more reporting on, because like, what precautions should we really be taking? Chat here saying, in an 8-hour shift, the healthy exposure level to this chemical is 1 part per million. Ribbert saying, I think it's in dry cleaning, bad stuff, hard to clean. The Guardian is saying trains use the same brakes as the 1800s. Right. One of the things I think the labor union was fighting for was like updated braking systems. And obviously, you know, this is a direct result of kind of like not taking those concerns seriously. Cool, a whole dead swath of land. Yeah, a lot of the wildlife has been affected. You know, I've seen pictures of just like pools of fish that have all just been killed. People are saying, oh, all the foxes are dead. So people's pets have just like keeled over like almost immediately after the explosion, because just like the introduction to these chemicals is just like horrible. I'm really regretting not having saved the one video about that interviews the member of that union, but I don't know. People are suggesting that, hey, maybe this video is good.
This hasn't been getting a lot of
let's turn up the volume.
Coverage, and the coverage that it has been getting hasn't been very good. So let's talk about the trail derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. East Palestine's about an hour north of Pittsburgh, almost halfway to Cleveland. Norfolk Southern has a rail line that goes right through town, and this derailment happened right on the edge outside of town on the border of PA and Ohio. Of the cars that crashed, 5 of them contained vinyl chloride. It's a monomer used to make PVC.
Right. Okay, vinyl chloride.
This has gotten vinyl chloride confused with polyvinyl chloride, the polymer made out of vinyl chloride. Now, the reason that this distinction is really important is vinyl chloride is very hazardous and very flammable. Polyvinyl chloride is a plastics that's used in like everything. The other thing about
this like elegy music, what is going on?
Vinyl chloride is that it boils at 8 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's shipped in its liquid form. Meaning that when these trains crashed and these started leaking, they weren't just leaking liquid, but they were spewing boiling gas. So vinyl chloride is really toxic. OSHA has the permissible limit of how much you can be exposed to it during an 8-hour shift as a 1 ppm part per million, average over 8 hours. So prior to this, the biggest spill of this chemical was in New Jersey, where 1 train car and about 23,000 gallons of vinyl chloride were spilled, but it didn't catch on fire. Now this crash,
damn, so I guess catching on fire is
in Ohio,
even worse.
Ohio has 5 train cars. These kinds of tanker cars can carry between 25 and 33,000 gallons. Let's call it 250 to 250,000 pounds of vinyl chloride.
My God.
That's per train car, 5 train cars. There's maybe 1 million pounds of this toxic chemical spilled.
The autocorrect saying that's 1 million British pounds, but damn.
Spilling into the ground and also boiling off into the air. But then it caught on fire. I think this is where the reporting is really bad, because no one is mentioning what the byproduct of vinyl chloride burning is. Of the many byproducts of burning vinyl chloride, one of them is hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride is really unstable and latches onto water, like just water vapor in the atmosphere, and that turns into hydrochloric acid. So right now, government officials from the railroad, both the governor of Pennsylvania and Ohio, are calling burning off the 1 million pounds of this stuff a success, but not mentioning that it means that we have hundreds of thousands of pounds of acid in the air, potentially. Now, ever since engineering school, I've studied a lot of industrial accidents. I just find it really fascinating, and organizations like the Chemical Safety Board, NTSB, and OSHA all have like really good reports available to the public. I think as a designer, it's really good to learn about mistakes. When looking at these kinds of industrial disasters across time, there are a couple things that are pretty universal across all of them. 1, the responsible party, in this case, Norfolk Southern Railway, always plays down the reality of the situation. Politicians also just repeat the same lines, and then news outlets just repeat the same. So all we're hearing is the responsible party's word.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, and I mean that seems to be what we're doing. We're basically relying on like community TikTok reporting in order to get the truth out about this this story. So I guess, you know, if I keep scrolling, I might be able to find this other report that I saw. It was just like a TikTok video of someone who had like coincidentally like interviewed a member of the labor union who's basically saying that, you know, this is something that could have been avoided. Let me see. Ohio Union. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I think This was it. Yeah. Back in December, a union rail worker warned about the potential for a catastrophic train derailment. Then a week ago, it happened in Ohio. Yeah, this
Rail workers
video
warned us about disaster.
is pretty good. You know, look at this guy's haircut even.
Rail workers warned us about disaster like this. I heard firsthand months ago
Oops,
about
sorry.
the corporate practice of precision scheduled railroading. Precision scheduled railroading is shorter staff, longer hours, longer trains, less safety, less maintenance. Do I have all that right?
Oh, you got it all right. I mean,
Okay.
a lot of the derailments that you're seeing on national TV is one of a few things. It's lack of maintenance on the track, or they've cut the track gangs too short and they can't get out to fix it, or they've cut the carmen's, which is the union that works on the rail cars. So we have one derailment here in Northeast Ohio where a wheel flange was very thin. It picked a switch and derailed the entire train. Luckily, it was full of candle wax and not something highly volatile.
Rail workers try.
It's crazy because like keeping this critical infrastructure maintained is like literally a win for everybody. So I really don't understand why the US is like breaking up like this particular union. You know, it's like, hey, this is your critical infrastructure. It benefits rich people the most. Like, just keep these workers happy, keep them safe, make sure that they can take sick days so that they're not tired when they're working. And it's just like, it isn't though. That's the thing. It's not more cost effective. Like the damage that is gonna come from this one train derailment alone is going to like not have been worth the trouble.
Tried to strike over this stuff, but were stopped by Congress. A few weeks later, and here we are. Several Norfolk
Insurance claims, yeah, but like just like think about the amount of like human resources, like the labor that they're going to lose as a result of all of this cancer over the next like 30 years.
Southern cars of toxic, highly volatile chemicals exploded fantastically in the tiny town of East Palestine, Ohio, 20 miles from where I grew up. So I met Clyde in East Palestine to ask him about it.
It looks like a faulty bearing caused a catastrophic derailment. These railroads are turning profits hand over fist. They've cut their workforce to bare bones, and now they're paying the price for it because the wheels are falling off the train, basically. Carmen were inspecting cars about 3 minutes per car. That's always been the industry standard. Now it's 90 seconds per car.
Right, yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. They cut the time in half for inspecting these vehicles.
That's because of PSR?
Yes, it's a rush job right now, and these guys are under pressure. I mean, they're working men and women, and, you know, if they don't hurry up and get this car done, they're going to be fired.
Great points. So I went to a press conference with Norfolk Southern and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine to ask them about this. What could precision scheduled railroad have to do with the axle failure that caused the derailment?
I have no idea.
I love this. Look at this zoom in on this man. This man who's got like nothing to say.
I have no idea that it's a mechanical issue. Precision scheduled railroading is a management process.
Just throws up his hands like, I don't know.
Not a great answer. And
Somebody call Aaron Brockovich true, because this is a huge class action. Capitalism is also rife with contradictions. It sure
that's
is.
probably because Norfolk Southern let a worker take the fall rather than a single corporate executive showing up in the town that they polluted to be held accountable.
Yeah, it's crazy. This one worker just like steps forward trying to like help out, trying to explain it.
You see, Wall Street owns Norfolk Southern. 74% of shares are owned by a who's who of infamous hedge funds. And this is the business model that they demand. Profit at any cost. And disaster like this is simply a cost of doing business. They cut everything, make all the money, and pay off disasters in tiny flyover towns from the profit. But instead of answering for any of that, they're betting that the corporate media, under the same pressure for extreme profit as railroads, will only ask questions about how much cancer people will get and not why this preventable disaster happened.
Yeah. So before we hear the TikTok music at the end, that's the deal. Really great work. You know, is this from this account? I don't know, but okay, this is a more perfect union, yeah, on TikTok. So okay, well, yeah, I feel like this is someone who's really putting in the work. So like, retweet, following. This is you know, amazing that essentially it seems like citizen TikTok journalism is capable of doing a better job than our mainstream media. obviously there's a lot of corporate interest to cover up this project, and it seems like people are trying to cover Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg's booties as well. So Antifa saying insurance companies are already making adjustments to dodge future cancer claims, just like they did with long COVID. Oh, damn. Well, I really hope that there is like movement on this. I feel like it's one of those things in this area of social media is that the more you try to cover something up, the more people are going to like take the initiative to cover and talk about online. So I have a feeling, I'll probably post this video to YouTube as well. Like I want there to be like eyes on this story. The Streisand effect, fingers crossed. Yeah. So, hopefully this is something that can be addressed. I feel like, maybe there's aliens in the sky all of a sudden for a reason, because they're trying to cover up this story and get us all talking about something else. But honestly, our eyes should be on this. It's something super just close to the Canadian border. Like, we don't even really know what the long-term effects are going to be, and how far reaching they're going to be, because nobody's taking the time to like properly like take a look at this. So we should definitely keep our eyes on it, and our thoughts with the people who have already been affected as well.